Howdy everyone, Runt9 here, and welcome back to Runt9 Plays Nova Drift. I believe that we got a new patch on the beta branch. It's not showing up in game. So, from what it looks like, there was a suggestion in the feature discussion channel on Nova Drift's Discord about, yeah, Pulse, that's exactly what we want. About potentially having charged mines only detonate on impact instead of having a blast radius, which makes a lot of sense because the point of charged mines is to try to have your mines actually charge up. So we're going to check that out and see if that buff ended up being a big benefit to the pulse mortar build. So right out of the gate, we've got exactly what we want. Architect plus loaded mines, and then we'll just we'll work our way up to charge shot as necessary. So they do still explode on impact, so it's not like they don't explode when you want them to. But I very much like the thought that you can get by, or you can utilize your mortars in such a way where instead of having to be like super precise with where you aim them to get a full charge off, you can just kind of throw them out there and worry a lot less about it. So I'm really excited to see how this ends up working. We're definitely going to go skirmish. Going to need quite a few things here. So I don't remember if I've done a pulse mortar build on YouTube yet. I definitely have done it on stream a couple of times, and I mean, it's incredibly strong. I'm a huge fan of it. Gonna re-roll that. We'll grab Terminate, and we'll grab Essence Sap. And again, you know, we're gonna go with the simple Gemini Protocol Terminate goodies because that's just... It's not that it's strong, it's that that's where I'm most comfortable. You know, I like to play around with the offensive capabilities and let the defensive capabilities just kind of be where I'm used to. Self-destruction gets us closer to Overseer. Why not grab Overseer and then probably re-roll for Mortar here? There's Mortar. All right, so we can immediately begin what we need to do here. So Pulse Mortar just is incredible from a damage perspective, from a DPS perspective. It also is just very easy to use. Point it generally in the direction you need something to die, and it will probably die when the mortar hits. I will grab Revelation because heavy caliber on Pulse Mortar is incredibly good. And so that's basically what we'll be holding out for here, is trying to pick up one of those. So the self-damage on firing a mortar when you don't have any charged up is not reducible, so we're not going to worry about self-damage resistance or anything. We're just going to keep a close eye on things until, you know, we pick up some mods for increased mine, or increased assembly speed. That's the word phrase I was looking for. Polar inversion is very, very good here, but definitely heavy caliber is just incredible. I mean, the blast radius and the projectile size and the damage, it adds a lot to a pulse mortar build. And so I believe that in addition to the charged mines change, that the trigger radius on mines was also brought down a little bit. I'd have to double check the patch notes just to make sure, but that also in general is a big buff for mortar builds. Blast radius is obviously an important one here. Minefield though, this is the one that gets us to being able to spam a little bit more. And that's ultimately my goal here, is not necessarily to have one big mortar that kills everything, but be able to spam them out in rapid succession. So we do want to get to charged mines, but Bravado on Architect is quite good for the bonuses that it provides. And Worms, just because of our AoE, is just... they're not a problem. They tend to not cause any issues whatsoever, and so at some point we do need to focus on some defensive capabilities, but I mean, right now, I'm really not concerned about it. You can see, like, we shredded the Big O before it could even do anything. And once we get charged mines, and again, this is why I'm so excited about this, is the last thing Pulse Mortar needed was a buff. I think it's already one of the strongest builds in Genesis as it is right now. But I'm certainly not upset about it. Honestly, not going to worry about corrosion. Rupture is something we're going to want, but if you're going to give me Mine Specialist, I'm going to take it. So it looked like it was 2 or 3 to kill the Celestial. I couldn't tell if the second one killed it because I spammed another one in there. Oh, we'll go grab the XP from that, and then we've got a baby jug to deal with. So this will be a good, point of view on where our damage is at from a spamming perspective. Only had to use a few of them. Increased high explosive, obviously exactly the type of thing that we're after here. Just increase that AoE, make us that much more powerful. What else you got for me? I mean, Rupture, but let's get to charged mines, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do with this run, is see how big the buff to charged mines is. And so I'm recording this on Wednesday, so it's a few days after I recorded the other episodes for this week. So this is the first episode of the day. That's why, dodging and shooting is a little bit off. I mean, more off than usual, I should say. You guys know that I am not the greatest player in the world, to say the least, but, we have been pulling some pretty solid scores. We had that, what was it, 1.8 million run the other day? You gotta feel good about that. Not gonna go Concentrated Blast. I think Rupture is a good pickup here. But we are going to be looking for that charged mines pretty soon. It's just that Rupture adds even more AoE to the build, and this build is all about AoE. Getting that blast radius up as much as possible, making the mortars hit as hard as possible. So let's grab charged mines and let's go for some spam. All right, well, that was a pretty easy Scion kill. Didn't even use the new charged mines that much, but that'll give you a good example right there. Got to just wait for the impact. So I don't know if it's working exactly as intended. Yeah, I think I may not have the new patch. So unfortunately, I may not have grabbed the new patch from the beta branch. It may be out on experimental, and that may be why I don't have it. But I'm never upset to do a Pulse Mortar run. These are always a lot of fun. We're going to want Gemini here pretty soon. Polar Inversion. I love Polar Inversion on Pulse Mortar, because after the primary explosion from the mortar, it pulls enemies into the pulse explosions. And so it just adds a little bit more oomph to the damage, and also gives you a little bit of room for lack of precision. I don't know. That may have actually worked. Maybe. It looks like they also explode at full charge. Do I have it? Maybe I do. Okay, they explode at full charge. That's what it is. Okay, so maybe I do have it. If they explode on full charge on impact, but not on regular old trigger radius, that's fantastic. Yeah, because that would have been in the trigger radius before. I think it's because, okay, so it's not full charge. It's because they take damage. The mines take self-damage. And so they explode when the mines are quote unquote dead. That's what it is. Like if we go back and read it, your mines constantly take 2 damage per second. Now the question is, was the tooltip updated to note? Yeah, okay, so that's the confirmation that we're on the right patch. Your mines no longer detonate when an enemy is within their trigger radius, but do detonate on impact. So, absolutely, we're on the right patch. And so it's just a matter of seeing do we think this is better or worse? And I mean, my expectation is that I'm going to think it's better, but I'm going to reserve judgment for the moment. Now we should just start working on tankiness, because where we're at right now, I mean, this is an easy Seraph kill with the build as it is. So I'm certainly not concerned about, you know, taking this as far as we need to go, just working on not dying. We got Gemini, we got, or actually no, we don't have Gemini yet. We do need Gemini. That's something we need to pick up soon. Okay, yeah, that is much better. Because now you can not worry about it nearly as much. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that is so powerful. Okay, I am on board with these changes 110%. I think that this build needs to be nerfed after that change. I legitimately think that it's a little too good. I think Blitz hitting enemies at full HP or 20% more damage just seems like it's going to be that much better. I mean, I'm trying not to spam, but the thing is, like, there's no reason not to. I mean, yeah, you want to wait for charges to get up there, but for bosses, you can just spam, and it's not that big of a deal. So for this jug, I'm just going to shoot every single mortar we've got prepared and kill him before he even charges at us. Seems good. Why not grab plating? I'm pretty sure that Rancor doesn't affect your mines, but I'm going to pick up the plating anyways because it's good to deal with riffraff. Increase shield, obviously a good defensive pickup. So basically at this point, it's just a matter of playing the game, not making big mistakes, and working our way up to as high as we can go. I mean, I'm pretty much locked in. The build is where it needs to be, and we're just gonna play the game. And so this is the point where I wish that I was better at bantering, because I would just stop talking about the game and start talking about something else. So let's talk about self-quarantine, because that's something that's affecting me right now. So as you guys know, I've been dealing with some COVID-like symptoms for the past, week and a half or so. And I was doing fine on, having plenty of food here and dealing with like, okay, have to go to the grocery store less often and, try to stock up a little bit, but not hoard, not stockpile. And now, because, Emily is living with me and she has to also quarantine except for her job, but she works at a bank that is drive-through only now, so there's not that much risk. So as long as she's wearing gloves and everything, it's a situation where now we're doing the right thing and self-quarantining, so we're not going out in public and all that, which includes not going to the grocery store. And so now I'm dealing with the fact of like, okay, I'm out of fresh fruits and veggies. I'm out of peanut butter now, which I've gotten probably more addicted to peanut butter than I should be. But it's a great source of excess not empty calories. It's a great source of calories that keep you full for a while. And so I've been using that to kind of offset the fact that I don't have breakfast type stuff. And yeah, it's been interesting trying to deal with it. And also, you guys know I've been dealing with the ISP issues, and I have to be like, sorry, you can't come in and check anything, like tell me what to do, but you kind of have to wait a couple more weeks before you're allowed to come in the house and actually like check out the modem and stuff. And so like there wasn't necessarily a point to this, more just like talking about how I'm trying to get creative with how I plan out my meals. Like it's 2:30 in the afternoon and I haven't eaten anything today. So, if I die a really stupid death, I'm gonna just blame it on lack of food, even if that has nothing to do with it. So, expect that excuse to be used if this run gets yeeted soon. which is entirely possible. Do we not have Gemini? We do have Gemini. Never mind. We just have good hull resistance. So my expectation, though, is that probably within the next week, I'll be in an okay spot to... Honestly, I don't think we're going to pick up Obsession. We're doing okay without it. Just give me Force Armor. I'm expecting that within the next week or so, I'll probably be at a spot where I'll be able to go back out and everything will be fine. But it is a very interesting situation right now, trying to figure out, okay, how do I provision out the food that I've got here and also not be lazy and actually cook the stuff that's in the pantry? Because that's also been a problem. Is there's not a shortage of, you know, dry pasta and sauce and stuff, but that requires actually cooking. And for whatever reason, I've been lazier than usual the past few weeks, and that's stunted the cooking part of it. And it's not like it's difficult to cook. I just boil some pasta and throw some sauce in a pan, blend that with some frozen veggies, and dump that on top of the pasta, and done. You know, it's about the simplest thing you could possibly do. But if I would just do that, then there wouldn't be a concern about food, because it's frozen food and stuff that I'm running out of. The cheap, quick, and easy stuff. But another little part of it is I tend to be eating before streams these days, because I like making sure that I'm satiated and caffeinated and all of that stuff. I'm fully ready for the stream. Can't make any complaints or excuses about, oh, well, I didn't eat before the stream, or I didn't have tea, so I wasn't awake, or I was hungry. Like, I don't like that. I also don't want to eat on stream. You know, obviously, if I ever do a stream longer than the 5 hours on Friday, then that'll probably happen. Like, when we do the 8-hour charity stream for hitting 50 followers, I'm going to need to eat on stream, but I'm also going to try to eat something that isn't a problem for people to watch, I guess. Because it's not that I mind when other streamers do it, it's just more of like, the less I can do it, the better, kind of my mentality. So that's something where I tend to just, you know, grab some sort of frozen food, throw it on a plate, microwave it, eat it real quick in the 30 minutes or so before stream. Have some tea along the same time, and that tends to work out pretty well. And so that's the problem, is I've been eating into that, pun intended. Oh, I meant to actually grab that. Singular Strike is actually really, really good, and then we'll just keep grabbing heavy calibers. Oh, we never killed the first Celestial. Okay, 1 second. We almost died there. One second. Gotta make sure that we deal with this Seraph. So I basically just, like, need to get off my lazy butt and actually cook a real meal. And that way I'm not eating into my pre-stream food and can instead have something that is actually healthy. Well, quote-unquote healthy. There's only so much you can do with canned sauces and frozen veggies. It's interesting though, because like I've heard two sides of the frozen veggies argument. That some people claim that frozen veggies are actually better because fresh veggies have had time to deteriorate between harvesting and getting to the store, whereas frozen veggies actually have more nutrients because they were frozen right after harvest. And I haven't actually like read up on the science on it, so I don't actually know. But I find that argument interesting. Like for me, the frozen veggies is just easier because I can buy them in bulk and keep them around longer without having to worry about, you know, oh crap, I need broccoli for this week, or oh, I didn't cook the broccoli quick enough, it's now moldy and I've wasted the money and the food and I feel bad about it. So I've been going the frozen veggies route, and I am legitimately curious if it is actually healthier for you or not, because, you know, it would be nice to know that my laziness is actually paying off in a healthier way when it comes to eating frozen veggies instead of fresh. But even then, I think I've only got a bag or two left, and so I have to make sure to figure out, okay, do I have enough food to get through another week or two of self-quarantine before I actually run out and am forced to go to the store? Because obviously, like, I've been using Instacart for groceries for a long time now. You know, it makes life a lot easier to not have to do the shopping yourself, you know, not go stand in line at the store and everything. But Instacart during this pandemic is super overloaded right now, as you might expect. And every time that I check it, it's either like, you can get your groceries in 5 days. And when I finally realized, okay, we're gonna have to self-quarantine, better go ahead and do an Instacart order, they said delivery is no longer available in your area. Or, I mean, that's not the exact verbiage, but basically that we can't get delivery at the moment. So when I was finally ready to do it, you can't do it anymore. So I need to keep checking that. I may even look into like curbside delivery and see, can I just drive up to the grocery store and they'll bring it out? I know that's a thing that they offer, but I don't know if they're still offering that right now. Honestly, I'm going to grab Winnow here. I don't like any of that. Banish all that from the mod pool. Twin Strike is bad for us from a survivability standpoint, from shield cooldown, and there's no guarantee that it's going to add, you know, more pulses to the mortar. So would prefer to not go that route. You know, I feel like I have to explain myself whenever I don't pick up Twin Strike, because I'm always talking about how incredibly good it is the vast majority of the time. Because it is incredibly good. Hello, friend. Did we kill you? No, we didn't? Okay. We'll just do that instead. But yeah, that's what's been going on. I've been, you know, enjoying the new Animal Crossing routine, though. Now, I know that the game has lost its initial shock of popularity, very, you know, Pokemon Go-esque. You don't hear a lot of people clamoring about it anymore because, you know, they got their island to tier 3, KK came, they saw the credits, and they're like, okay, I'm good. I've enjoyed what I've done. And then you've got the hardcore Animal Crossing players who are, you know, sitting there buying Nook Mile tickets because that's a more stable currency than bells, since people had infinite bells glitch, all that. I'm more in the camp of, I have enjoyed waking up in the morning, doing my Animal Crossing chores, you know, talking to the villagers, all that kind of stuff. I got terraforming a couple days ago and spent a good chunk of time refinishing some stuff on the island. You know, radio silence for just a second here, because we've got a baby jug and a champion celestial, and we're in a spicy situation. I said radio silence and didn't shut up. Spent more time telling you about what was going on, which you already can see on the screen. So yeah, I've been enjoying the routine with it. It's been something that just works for me. And, you know, I spent a lot of time building up the paths and stuff like that. And it's weird because, like, when I first heard about Animal Crossing, I didn't understand what it was. Emmy tried to explain it to me, and I still didn't get it. I'm like, I still don't understand. What's the game? What are you trying to do? And, you know, it's sandboxy in the same kind of way that Minecraft is sandboxy, but not in the sense that it does actually give you direction. It gives you goals, things to work towards. Definitely want retribution here. I like that there's always something more to be working towards. You know, I spent a lot of bells on infrastructural projects, and so now I still don't have my house finished off. I've got the upstairs unlocked. I don't have the downstairs unlocked, and I think there's another upgrade after that. I can do a little spam here. And so, like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not done. I would like to have an S tier house. I would like to have a 5-star island. And I like making small incremental progress each day, which is rare for me considering that most of the time when I get into a game, I play the ever-living crap out of it until I get burned out on it and then never touch it again. That tends to be my modus operandi. I could have just said MO, but, you know, it sounds so much cooler to say the real thing. Do you guys have to circle me like that? It's rude. Have we not picked up max shield? I don't think we have. We have picked up max shield. Okay. Doesn't feel like we have very much shields. Honestly, I don't even know what I'd want at this point. Core shielding is obviously just fine. The self-damage resistance doesn't help us, but, you know, it's more hull damage resistance, which I'm never going to be upset about. Hull damage resistance plus max hull plus essence sap just in general is a good combination for survivability. Especially with Gemini Protocol, since that keeps your shield alive longer. Oops. Trying to avoid those comets and ended up flying right into one. And so, yeah, the routine has been working out, and, you know, I've also been able to get back to not necessarily being motivated to do my work per se, but being more disciplined again about it. And, you know, it's not that I wasn't doing my work, it was just more that I had to drag myself into it and I didn't want to do it. And now it's back to the point of like, all right, I got work to do, let's knock it out, and then I can feel better in the evening when I settle down and play video games and work on stream-related stuff. And so that's felt really good as well. Just, you know, in general, life has been getting more positive even with, you know, all the stuff going on right now. It's certainly less than ideal, but that's also just part of life. Is rarely will your life be ideal. It's how do you make it the most ideal that you can given the circumstances. And so, you know, obviously that's been a big focus, is trying to figure out, you know, we're still in a temporary situation. I moved down here to have basically an 18-month lease on a rental house to try out this whole thing with Emmy and find out, hey, are we like actually capable of being a couple? And that way, if I'm not, then, or if we're not, then it's very easy to just move back home. And now that things have worked out, it's like, okay, well, now I wish I hadn't done an 18-month lease, and instead we could just move forward with like buying a house and moving in and settling down for good. Because that would be much better than the temporary solution that we're kind of at. But at the same time, there's nothing particularly wrong with where we're at. I enjoy what we have, like, immensely. Honestly, the self-damage resistance doesn't matter, but more damage, the more damage we are. No, I wanted a kinetic boost like forever ago. Just spam the jug until he's dead. There we go. Stop trying to mess around with it. Just spam until the jug's dead. I'm trying to get all fancy with the charged mines. Like, it doesn't matter. If you get a full charge off, great. If not, doesn't matter. You still do plenty of damage without it. All right, so we're at wave 200. This is going to be a radio silence. Ion is dead. Work on Seraph. We tanked a Lance there. Less than ideal, obviously. Right. Oh, we got hit by his crash damage. Yeah, I think I tanked at least one Lance to the face. I might have tanked 2 Lances to the face, and that took us down low enough that it only took one little crash to do us in. So, yeah, I very much like the changes to charged mines. I think that it did a very good job of making it feel like it should, which is, I don't want my charged mine to go off before it's ready, which is either on impact or when the mine dies, pretty much at full charge. So a 1.13 is a little bit low for a pulse mortar run. I should be in the 1.4, 1.5 run or range, but also this was the first one of the day. Haven't played Nova Drift in a few days, blah, blah, blah. But you can't be upset about that. You know, this puts us where? It's still our second highest run in the new YouTube series, so obviously second highest score is still good. And you guys got the basically the first time that I've been able to tune out from the game and just stream of consciousness banter a little bit. I'm sure the banter was scatterbrained and maybe not the most interesting thing in the world, but I'm glad that I can finally start practicing that and get to the point in Nova Drift where it's like, okay, between wave 100 and 200, I've got a build ready and I can just kind of forget about the game for a little bit, just pick up stuff that I know is good. So hopefully there will be more of that in the future, and there will be more just great runs in the future. Pulse Mortar doesn't look like we've done a run before, so this will be something new for some of you YouTube folk who may not have seen this on stream yet. But anyways, long outro. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your feedback, likes, dislikes, comments, all that good stuff. In addition, subscribe to the channel for all sorts of content, first looks, reviews, let's plays, all that good stuff. In addition, check out the link tree in the description below. It has links to Twitch, Twitter, Discord, so you can hang out with me, catch the streams, all that good stuff. But until the next episode, I'm Runt9, and I will see you later.